What's going on, guys? John with Refinery Fragrances back for another video. Today we are taking a look at L'Aventure by Haramain. Before we hop into the review, if you guys are interested in fragrance-related content like this and you're not subscribed already, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell icon for notifications for any future uploads. So L'Aventure is classified as a fruity chypre fragrance. It was released in 2016, and there isn't any perfumer listed that I could find for this fragrance. If you guys know, please let me know down in the comments. All right, so for notes, in the top we have bergamot, lemon, and elemi. In the mid, we have woody notes, which is the biggest thing of all time, jasmine and lily of the valley. And the base, there is musk, patchouli, and amber. So let me give you guys a little bit of a backstory on my relationship with Creed Aventus, which will bring me to why I love L'Aventure so much. So Aventus was a fragrance I had first learned about in 2012, and that was right at the start of my fragrance journey, if you want to call it that. It was one that was like talked about so much, but you just couldn't find it anywhere. Like no, your Macy's doesn't carry it, Sephora doesn't carry it. All of these popular and fairly common retailers of perfume just didn't carry Creed or niche perfume for that matter. So it was something that was like a myth to me. And then when I first got my nose on it, I was like, this is the best thing I've ever smelled. And for those of you that are familiar with Aventus, you know that around 2012 was like the glory days of Aventus, right? So they still had the birch in there, still had that really intense smoky aspect. And I just remember smelling it and I had to have it. I absolutely had to have it. So finally, Christmas of 2013, after knowing about Aventus for a couple of years, knowing what it smelled like for about a year, my parents were kind enough to gift me a bottle of Aventus for Christmas. This was back when they were making the 2.5 ounce and the 4 ounce bottles. And now, after knowing about batch codes, I looked at the batch code and it was a 2013 batch. And as you guys might know, that is just prime time for Aventus. I feel like anywhere from 2010 to 2014 is like the prime time to own Aventus and the most desirable batch codes for Aventus. So a couple of years later, I had gone through about half of my bottle and I'm like, man, I'm loving this so much. I think I'm gonna upgrade from the 2.5 ounce bottle and get the 4 ounce bottle. So I bought the 4 ounce bottle and I remember my dad saying, wow, that smells really good. So I had the 4 ounce bottle. I didn't need, another half bottle of the 2.5 ounce. I just went ahead and I gave my dad that 2.5 ounce. Well, I started to notice that my 4 ounce bottle wasn't quite the same. It didn't have the same lasting power. It wasn't nearly as pungent. I didn't get as many compliments with it, which when I had my 2.5 ounce bottle and the 2013 batch code, I kid you not, without fail, I would get at least one unsolicited compliment. It was just nuts. I'd never experienced anything like it before. And then this bottle, I think, was a 2015 or 16 batch, I want to say. And I just noticed that it just wasn't quite the same. Not gonna ask for my 2.5 ounce back from my dad, so I just went ahead and I wore it, and I just found myself being like very disappointed by it. So I went ahead and I sold that 4 ounce bottle. And there was just this Aventus void that I could not fill. I'm like, nothing has the lasting power. And then I started hearing about clones, and that intrigued me a lot. I'm like, okay, if there's some good clones out there that can replicate those earlier batches, I think I'd be happy with that, but it's gotta be the right one. It's gotta have that performance factor there, and it has to give that smoky, pineapple, birch thing that I just love so much. So a couple of years go by, I'm without Aventus, and then I start hearing about L'Aventure by Haramain and how it's a really good alternative to Aventus, but the performance wasn't great. It was kind of so-so reviews. I'm here to tell you that I've had L'Aventure for 3.5 years now, and I really don't feel the need to buy Aventus. The performance is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I have recommended this to friends. They have gone out and purchased a bottle, and then they will wear it around me, and it just will fill the room. And I'm like, dude, how many sprays did you do? It's like nuclear. And he's like, 2. I'm like, are you serious? 2 sprays, and we're outside at a bonfire, and it is cutting through the smell of the bonfire, and he's sitting on the other side. So that's how good the performance is on my skin, certainly on his skin. And for that, I gotta recommend L'Aventure. It is probably the best alternative to Aventus in my mind. It is the closest that I found to my 2013 batch. And you know what? You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to go out and buy L'Aventure. There are so many alternatives to Aventus, and they're all really good. Mont Blanc Explorer is one of the more recent ones that comes to mind. Club de Nuit Intense Man is the most popular by Armaf, the most popular Aventus alternative. I have tried all of those fragrances. I've tried the Dua clones that try to replicate the 2011 and the 2014 batches that are extremely popular. I just don't find them to be as close to my old bottle of Aventus as I do with L'Aventure. It nails it. It absolutely nails it. So I'm gonna stick with L'Aventure. And I will say though, eventually I will have Aventus back in my collection because I do smell it from time to time, and because my nose has matured, I can certainly tell the difference in quality. There's a big difference in quality, but for me, unfortunately, Creed's prices just keep going up, but the quality isn't going up. The longevity is not there like it once was with Aventus. The bottles are getting smaller. Now they don't make the 4-ounce bottles. They make the 3.3-ounce bottles, the 100 ml bottles. And the price is now $455 for Aventus, which takes us to price point for L'Aventure. I way overpaid for L'Aventure, and I paid $60. Don't laugh at me, please. Go easy on me in the comments. I paid double what I should have for it, but I bought it at a mall that actually had it. So, you live and you learn. But with online discounters, FragranceNet, you can get this, I think, for 30 to 35 bucks. And the presentation's great. Yeah, it's just all around, it's a really solid replica of Aventus that I have to recommend. There's no pineapple in there, which is odd, but it does very accurately give off that pineapple-like feel. So I don't really miss there being strictly that pineapple. Maybe it's slightly less sweet. Maybe it's a little bit drier in the opening than Aventus would be. And I almost get, I definitely pick up on the bergamot and the lemon that is in there. And for me, that really does kind of just give me the impression of Aventus. So I'm not really missing the pineapple in that regard. All right, so let me give you guys a close-up look at this fingerprint magnet of a bottle. It's kind of a cool looking bottle. You can kind of see like a slightly greenish tint to the juice, which actually is pretty reminiscent of Aventus. But it's kind of a cool looking bottle. Daver from Fragrance Bros called it, I think, something out of Halo, which I can totally see. It looks like a tesseract or something. Pretty cool bottle. I don't believe I have the box anymore. I looked for it and I couldn't find it. But it comes in a really cool black box that you can check it out online, or maybe I'll put a picture probably right there and show you guys. But for $35, you simply can't beat it. The performance is fantastic on it. I get compliments all the time on it, so it does. It gives me more compliments than the newer batches of Aventus that I've tried. Consistently gives me more compliments. So I just feel like with the price point, with the performance, with the packaging, I feel like you can't go wrong with this. And if you like Aventus, I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware of it, but maybe you don't want to shell out that cash even at a discounted price. I think it's still $250, $300. I feel like discount sites have hiked Aventus up over the past couple of years. I just think that this is a really great alternative, and it is certainly my favorite alternative. That is all from me, guys, on L'Aventure by Haramain. Let me know, have you tried it? What are some of your favorite Aventus alternatives? Let me know down in the comments. Let's get a discussion started, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon.